What's going on, everyone? My name is Piero and welcome to Spark Up. Today we're going to be talking about a nightmare for a lot of apprentices and also homeowners with little to no experience in the electrical field. We're talking about switch loops. Maybe you watch a YouTube video on how to expand, how to modify your single gang switch and turn it into a two gang switch. You're trying to add a light maybe to your foyer. You open up the screw, you open up the cover, the switch box, and then you see that it does not look like the diagram, the wiring diagram you've seen online. Maybe the reason why it's because you're dealing with a switch loop. Today we're going to see what a switch loop is, how to spot it, and if it's code compliant. Now we're going to see on the board and also in reality. On the other side of the board I have a little mock, couple of mock boxes that will show you how what the wiring is supposed to look like. So we're going to try and keep things as basic and as easy and simple as possible, especially for people with no experience in the trade. And of course, if you're trying to do anything in your house, in your home that involves electrical, please do call a licensed electrician, okay? You don't want to mess with that. You can mess with anything else, not with the electrical, okay? That can screw you over pretty bad. So to make it simple, as I'm sure all of us know, anything electric in your home is powered by your main electrical panel, EP, okay? Out of your panel, you'll have multiple wires going to whatever circuit they're going to be dealing with. For example, one circuit is going to be for your kitchen. Usually it's two circuits for your kitchen, but we're going to talk about branch circuits in a separate video, okay? Then we're going to have maybe one for your garage. And then what interests us is we're going to have one for your lighting. Now, it's better to have lighting and power circuits separated. We're going to discuss that in a separate video as well, okay? We're trying to keep things simple here. Now, in a standard situation, your power will come from the main electrical panel straight to a switch enclosure. First, on the wall, this will be your switch box, right? And then out of your switch box, forgive my drawing, I'm terrible at drawing, I know that, but bear with me. It will go to your light. Oh my God. That looks like a baby pacifier, I guess, I don't know. Well, if you can make sense of it, that's better. That's your light fixture. A toddler can draw better than me for sure. Anyway, this will be your typical scenario, okay? And I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like in an electrical enclosure. There you go. Now in first person, we're going to see exactly what it looks like in a standard situation. You have your power coming from the panel, okay? And your cable really is comprised of three wires. You have your grounds that are spliced together. Your neutrals as well, they're spliced together, and the line side, really the power should be at the top of your screw, at the top terminal. It doesn't have to be, but it's nice to put it there because usually most electrical enclosures have their power coming from the top. And then you're going to have your bottom for your switch leg. Now this will be off as long as the switch is off. As soon as you turn the switch on, now I have the power off, but as soon as you turn the switch on, this side of the wire, your switch leg will energize and your light bulb will light up, okay? This again in a standard scenario. Now we're gonna see what a switch loop looks like. Now this is a standard situation, okay? But in a switch loop, things are just slightly different, okay? Power, instead of going to the switch first, it will go to your light. Forgive me again, there you go. That should make a little more sense, right? And then out of your light, it will go to your switch. So in reality, it's reversed. And this is only made possible by the fact that a switch does not need a neutral. Now we're gonna talk about neutrals more in detail, but to make it as simple as possible, anything in your home that actually consumes electricity, consumes current, we say has a load, okay? Anything in your home that has a load will require a neutral. A switch is nothing but a bridge, okay? think of it as a bridge. You have your electricity. Electricity is your car. If the bridge is up, switch off, electricity can flow through. But if you lower the bridge and you turn on the switch, electricity will be able to flow through. In this case, really what needs a neutral, what actually consumes current, is your light. Okay, so what does this look like practically? Okay, to make things a little more simple, we're gonna draw two big boxes. Okay, these are two diagrams. Really, they represent the light box and your switch box. And these are your wires coming in. Okay, the black is your hot. The blue is going to be your neutral because the wire port is white, but usually your neutral is white, okay? And the green is going to be your ground. Okay, so the way it works is very simple. The switch does not need a neutral, but your light does, right? So what's going to happen here? Your neutral from the panel is going to go straight here. You're gonna wire nut it, okay? Your grounds as well. Your grounds are all going to go together. Okay? Now, this is where many people lose it. Okay? Your hot coming from the panel, your black, will get spliced to the black going to the light. Nothing gets connected to the light yet. Okay? This will make sure that you have power flow to the switch first. Does it make sense? Now your black is going to go here to the top. Your ground is going to, forgive me if I crisscross, but unfortunately we kind of have to. Your white wire is going to be what brings the power back to the light. Okay? Most of the time this will be wrapped in black. If the electrician at least, is kind enough to do that for you. And this is going to be what brings power back to the light. Okay? So in reality, it's just a big loop. That's why it's called switch loop. You don't need a neutral to the switch, so you use that extra white wire that you got in the switch. Instead of letting it do nothing, instead of sitting in the box doing nothing, you're gonna use that white wire to bring the power back to the light. That's gonna be your switch leg. Okay, so your light has neutral coming from the panel, and it's gonna have a hot coming from the bottom of the switch, just with a different wire color. That's all there is. Now we're gonna see in practice what a switch look looks like. Okay? Now, as you can tell, this is your power coming from the light. Gets spliced, and then it goes straight to your switch. Okay? Then your neutral coming straight from the panel, straight to the light. It doesn't go anywhere else. Your grounds are gonna be tucked in the back, and then your white wire on the switch leg it's gonna actually bring current back to the light. Okay? And now if you see it, magic, right? So simple, yet so complicated for many people, but in reality, it's just a game. Hopefully now you can understand a little better how a switch loop works, okay? Now, they don't come across as usually as you might think, which is a good thing, right? But in many older homes, maybe you might come across one of them, especially with homes that have knob and tube, which is a kind of wiring from the 1940s, okay? Or maybe the electrician that wired up your house to try to cut corners. In reality, the only good thing about having a switch loop is you save one wire, but it's not even that big of a deal. Nowadays, according to code, Section 404.2, the Article 404.2 in the National Electrical Code states that you need a neutral in every box. So no more switch loops. They're not allowed anymore. If an inspector sees it, you're going to fail inspection. The reason being is because, first of all, having a neutral is safer because it brings an imbalance in current back to the transformer. And we're going to talk about that more into detail next time. But also, many devices nowadays, for example, motion sensors or timers or occupancy sensors, you name it, dimmers, all these devices need a neutral. A switch doesn't. So by code, you always need a neutral in any switch or in any electrical box, any electrical enclosure. Okay? So hopefully switch loops are a little clearer to you guys now. This is my first video. As you can tell, I'm in my house basement, so we're trying to get started, but hopefully I hope that my passion for my trade transpires and it could be useful to all of you. If you have any questions or comments or any suggestions whatsoever, please leave them in the comments below. Subscribe if you like the video. There's going to be more coming. We're going to be talking about anything electrical at all. Industrial setting, we're going to talk about PLC and controls at some point, motor controls. We're going to talk about residential, commercial, HVAC systems, you name it. It's all going to be here on this channel. If you liked it, thumbs up, and I'll see you on to the next video.